Hey everyone, Fletcher Ellingson here. Welcome back to Your Life Is Now, the show designed to reveal and discuss the unseen forces that influence your every thought, decision, and action. This is where we discuss and learn how to give up wishing and start actively creating the life of your dreams. This is where you and I get to be real, develop courage, compassion, where we learn to be a source of contribution and take 100% responsibility for our life and have a ton of fun in the process. I want you to experience your own power, your own greatness, and together, you and I, we get to make this world a better place. So, good morning, good afternoon, good evening, and welcome. I'm so glad you're here, and I'm so glad that we're in this conversation together. All right, what are we talking about today? Well, today we're talking about courage. And let's get right to defining what courage is. One source I looked at defines courage as the state or quality of mind or spirit that enables one to face danger, fear, vicissitude with confidence, resolution, and bravery. We're going to come back to this definition later as there's something really important in it. And there's so much written on the topic of courage. It's the single most defining characteristic that drives most of our favorable characters in books and movies. We love the hero. We love the story of Rudy or Rocky, wherein that central character achieves victory over their fear and adversity. We love to see people take action in the face of their fear. There's another famous quote that states, "Courage is not the absence of fear, rather the decision that something is more important than fear." I love that. It's not the absence of fear, but the decision that something is more important than fear, and so action is taken in the face of fear. There's a scene in Game of Thrones where Bran asks his father, "Can a man still be brave if he's afraid?" To which his father replied, "That's the only time a man can be brave." And doesn't that make sense? Consider it. We have to have fear present in order to be brave. We have to have fear in order to have courage. What's really cool about this is that once we step into courage and bravery and make it through our fear, the result is frequently a higher level of confidence. Can you relate to that? Have you ever been in a scary situation and chosen to act despite your fear? And as a result, you discover that, oh, that didn't kill me, or it didn't ruin my life. I could even do that again. I may not want to, but I could do that again. You see, courageous actions build confidence. They build certainty, which is another word for a belief, right? Belief is nothing more than a feeling of certainty. Courage and bravery contribute to creating new belief systems. You see, our fear usually revolves around a story in our head that hasn't happened yet. Ralph Waldo Emerson said, "A hero is no braver than an ordinary man, but he is braver just 5 minutes longer." Now, usually when we talk about courageous people, we imagine the tales of people demonstrating heroic feats, such as the tale of Rosa Parks, who stood up for civil rights by sitting down. When I think of bravery, I see the image of the individual student who stood in front of that line of tanks in Tiananmen Square, or Dietrich Bonhoeffer standing up to Nazism, or Socrates even standing up for his ideas. There are other everyday stories of courage too. I read about a young man who dove into a river to pull a woman from her car. There was an article about a woman who witnessed a group of men beating a man to death and intervened by throwing herself on top of the victim, and she ordered the men to cease the beating. Now, there are countless war stories of soldiers facing down danger and prevailing, or even losing their lives or sustaining massive injury. What is it that propels us into or has us avoid danger or perceived fear? Well, it comes down to the stories we have in our head. It comes down to our beliefs, our level of certainty. For some, they see that making a difference is more important than their fear, so they're not stopped, they act. For some, it's a matter of protecting a loved one or themselves. You see, people will do just about anything to protect themselves. For others, it comes down to focusing on what would be possible if they took on their fears. They have a story in their head that has so much pleasure attached to it that they would do just about anything to get to that pleasure or that positive thing. It might be ending conflict and achieving peace. It might mean financial gain. It might mean saving a marriage or a life. The stories in our heads propel us into action. This is why this personal development conversation is so important. The stories in our head, our thoughts, they create our experience of life on every level. It's why so many who have absolutely so little food, water, or resources can still be happy. And it's also why some people who seemingly have everything they could ever want can still be unhappy or unfulfilled. You see, the stories in our heads create our emotional state, which then gives us our experience of life. Now, we talked about heroic examples of courage, but what about the everyday opportunities to step into courage and bravery? There are so many. What might that look like? It might look like speaking up and risk being unpopular or feeling foolish and doing it anyway. It might look like asking for help even though you're terrified that you'll look weak. It might look like saying no. Maybe you are the person who always says yes because you're afraid of hurting someone's feelings or upsetting someone. It might look like asking someone if they need help and then really being there to help. Even that can be terrifying for people, because to reach out and connect in an authentic way can be scary. You might get rejected. You might stand out from the crowd. You might fail. What would your life look like if you were more courageous? What effect would it have on your family? How would your children view you? What might they learn from your courageousness? How could it affect your marriage? Would it improve it? And what about your career, your finances? If you practice being courageous, what would be possible in your career? Would you reach out to more clients? Would you make more calls, take more initiative, implement new strategies, ask more questions, ask more, or ask for a raise even? Would you become more valuable? Would you even start your own business? What would happen to the trajectory of your life if you stepped into courage? Now, how do you decide to do it? Well, first off, you decide. Then what? Well, let's revisit the definition. Courage is the state or quality of mind or spirit that enables one to face danger, fear, or vicissitude with confidence, resolution, and bravery. So the important thing to note here is that it's a state of mind. And how do we change our state of mind? Well, there's three things. You change how you feel or your state of mind by changing your physiology, how you carry yourself, how you are standing, where are your shoulders, your head. And then you change your focus. What are you focused on? Are you focused on what can go wrong or what can go right? Are you focused on the terrible story in your head or the empowering story in your head? And then you change your language. What are you saying to yourself? What's your self-talk? Now, once you do that, you're ready to step into courage. And we have plenty of opportunities to work on courage. So look for an opportunity today, this week. Become courageous. And pretty soon, what you look back at, what you used to think was scary, you're just going to laugh. Now, you'll still have plenty to take on because you'll be ready to play a bigger game. That's the cool thing. Remember, it builds confidence. So what you can take on next time is even bigger. It might even look scarier, but you're going to have some confidence to fall back on. There's a quote I love from Anais Nin that says, "Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage." Life shrinks or expands in proportion to one's courage. All right, it's time to wrap this up. Do me a favor, if you found value in this video, please subscribe, hit the thumbs up, and share it so that together we can make an even bigger difference. Now, it's time to step into courage, then get out there and get into action. Get out there and be a source of kindness, be a source of contribution. You have worth, you matter, you have something to offer this world, and I believe in you.